Good job by Crotty as always. And again, the Heat are back in action tomorrow night. Heat and Rockets from Miami-Dade Arena. Had fun with that game last night, man. Bam. Oh, my God. Every night now, Bam looking like a star. 38 points, 9 rebounds, 12 of 16 from the floor, 14 of 14 from the free throw line. Jimmy, 25 points, 7 assists. Gabe Vincent, 17. It's about 15 more points you would get if Kyle Lowry were out there. So that's what we're all waiting. Now, maybe saying, ZASLOW, how do you not ask Crotty about Kyle Lowry? What's he going to say? He's a team employee. He's on the broadcast. He's part of the travel party. Like, Crotty can't come on here today and tell you Lowry sucks. Crotty knows Lowry sucks, but he's not going to come on here and tell you he sucks. So there's no real point in me asking him about the Kyle Lowry situation. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but I'm telling you, he's not going to be able to give you a straight answer. Most importantly, I don't want to put Crotty in a pickle. I don't want to put him in a bad spot where he doesn't want to lie, but he doesn't want to say something bad about a guy on the team. Like, that's a tough spot for him, so I'm not going to put him in that spot. Now, we got Brian Geltzeiler, SiriusXM NBA Radio coming up. I'm going to ask him about what's he hearing about Lowry. Is it possible they can move him? We'll talk about all the trades as well. Now, maybe the most interesting thing I thought that came out of last night's game. So the Heat win. They're 30-25 now. After the game last night, it's the last game until the trade deadline, right? So after the game, Jimmy Butler's asked about Kyle Lowry and Kyle Lowry rumors. Now, is Lowry sitting out right now because he wants to make things difficult for the Heat in order to try and trade him? Quite possibly. I mean, total dick move, but that's a power move. Quite possibly. I mean, Israel brought that up yesterday on the show. That could be what's happening. But listen to Jimmy Butler, and we've talked about this before where, Jimmy will be so mad if they trade Lowry. I think Jimmy would understand because Jimmy knows he sucks. I think Jimmy would understand if the Heat traded Lowry. Look, Lowry's already won a championship. Jimmy is not. And any move the Heat are going to make is going to be to try and get another championship to this organization, which would be Jimmy's first. So I think Jimmy would understand. But also at the same time, the Heat have committed so much money to Jimmy Butler. Like, you kind of got to eat that one, Jimmy. You know, if the Heat decide they want to move on from Lowry. But Jimmy's asked about this after the game, and give this a listen.
Tell Kyle you got to control what you can control. That's my guy, and I love him to death. I don't know what's going to happen, but, I love Kyle as an NBA player, as a human being. I want to play with Kyle, but so much is out of my control. And just like so much is out of his control, he could be my guy forever. I want him to be my teammate forever. And whatever happens, but that's still going to be my dog.
Now, what does that sound like to you? Because to me, that sounds like Jimmy Butler saying he's cool with Kyle Lowry being moved. He's always going to be my guy. I love him. I want to play with him. I love being his teammate. But I understand if the Heat get rid of him because he has stunk and I want the team to get better. Like, that sounds like Jimmy's playing, he's making it look good for his friend, that he loves his friend no matter what, and he always wants to play with him. And at the same time, he's telling you there, I don't have control over any of that stuff. I know the team is going to do whatever's best for the team. To me, that was Jimmy telling everyone, I love Kyle. He's always going to be my friend. If you got to move on from him, I'm good with it. It's okay. That's how that read to me. Now, I don't think they're going to be able to move him. Hopefully, you're listening to ZASLOW Show 2.0 later, and you're like, wow, ZASLOW, I'm listening in the future. You don't even know back then that the Heat traded Kyle Lowry for Steph Curry. I don't know what's going to wind up happening. But to me, that's Jimmy Butler saying, I'm always going to be good with Kyle Lowry. If they wind up not trading him, hey, that's my guy. I'm good with him staying here. But I understand if the team does trade him. I understand they're trying to get rid of him because he sucks. That to me sounded like Jimmy Butler signing off on things for Kyle Lowry. He's my guy. He's always going to be my guy. But I don't have any control. He doesn't have any control. I'm good. That's how that sounded to me. I thought that was a good thing for the Heat last night. Now, as far as the Heat fan go, Heat fans are going to be really mad today if they don't do anything, and I don't think they're going to be able to. But if they don't do anything other than give Orlando Robinson a standard contract, like they freed up money from trading out Dedmon and now they could convert Orlando Robinson to a standard contract, and like that's going to be the only thing they wind up doing, oh, the Heat fans going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed. I also think, I think the Heat fan can lack some perspective sometimes. This team was in the finals 3 years ago. They're not some long-suffering franchise. They were a shot away from returning to the finals last year. You know, it's not like, oh my God, we haven't been to the playoffs in forever. I understand they haven't won a championship in forever. It's been 10 years. That's a long time. It's hard as hell to win championships, man. But I feel like the Heat fan needs a little bit of perspective here, where if they don't wind up making a trade and you're all kinds of pissed, it's not just, again, it's so hard making these trades. You need another team to agree to take Kyle Lowry. Like, someone sent me a message last night, damn, Zaslow, I mean, how could the Heat not be able to get in the mix if you see the deal that the Lakers got last night just for Russell Westbrook? How could the Heat not do something like that? Well, let's look at it objectively. The Lakers got Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt. That totals around $51 million. So the Heat got to send out $51 million, or around $51 million, in order to make that kind of trade. Trading Lowry and Duncan Robinson still brings you a little bit short of $51 million. So you got to convince a team to take both Lowry and Robinson when no one wants just Lowry. Westbrook at least was on the last year of a deal, so teams are willing to take him on. Utah's likely going to buy him out. So why couldn't the Heat make that deal that the Lakers made last night? Number one, I don't think D'Angelo Russell's a Heat kind of guy, but let's say he was. You have to convince a team to take Lowry and Robinson. No one wants just Lowry. So but then you could say, oh, the Heat, terrible trade for Lowry, terrible contract for Robinson. And you would be right. I don't think the Robinson one's as bad, but you would be right if you want to make that argument. So it's not like you see all these deals out there. Why couldn't the Heat do that? And then on top of it, you look at the Durant trade from last night. The Heat couldn't come close. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, forget the Jay Crowder part, but Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, unless you throw Tyler Hero in there, you're still not adding up 4 first-round picks. And by the way, Tyler Hero, you would have to give Hero and Lowry and Robinson, because Hero's only making like $8 million this year. His contract doesn't kick in next year. It's got like that poison pill. It's really difficult to make the salaries work with a guy who just signed the extension, which doesn't kick in next year. The Nets have no interest in taking Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson, even if it were to net them Tyler Hero. And they got 4 first-round picks. The Heat only have 3. The Heat only have 3 of the trade. 23, 27, 29. Actually, they can't even trade the 27 one unless they unlock the protections from the 25, which they still owe Oklahoma City. So technically, the Heat only have 2 first-round picks right now that they could have traded in a Durant deal. The Nets got 4. Those trades weren't on the table for the Heat, unfortunately. And unfortunately, no one wants Kyle Lowry. I'm afraid the Heat are going to wind up being stuck. All right. I got to tell you about Briny Irish Pub, though. Briny Irish Pub, Pompano Beach. You know that's my spot. If you're looking for a place to watch the NFL this weekend, you're looking to watch the Super Bowl. See, I can call it the Super Bowl. If I was doing these reads on regular terrestrial radio, I got to call it the big game, because the NFL is so greedy and they don't let you call it the Super Bowl. I'll say whatever I want here. The Super Bowl. If you're looking for a place to watch the Super Bowl this weekend, Briny Irish Pub, Pompano Beach, world's greatest upscale dive bar. You know I'll watch my NFL games there. Take Atlantic Boulevard all the way to the Atlantic. Park behind the Briny. They don't pay for parking in that other lot. Park behind the Briny. They will validate your tag. You will not have to pay for parking. Live music every night, including tonight, starting at 7 p.m. You got fresh food. You got fresh craft beers on tap as well. Your favorite cocktails. Briny Hour starts at 4. That's happy hour. 4 to 7 p.m. is the Briny Hour. World's greatest upscale dive bar. You know that's my spot. Live music every single night. Briny Irish Pub, Pompano Beach. Good stuff there from Brian Geltzeiler. Again, like I said, 2 to 4 p.m. today. SiriusXM NBA Radio, and he does the show on SiriusXM NBA Radio, Channel 86 as well, with Sam Mitchell. Again, tonight, you got no Heat basketball. You do have the Panthers, San Jose Sharks. Panthers coming off a great win a couple nights ago against the Lightning. Obviously, we're dialed into that. Where for the next few hours, we're going to be dialed into NBA trade deadline, all right? A lot happening here. I think we've done a nice job covering the NBA trade deadline, actually, the last few days. Let's get to big deal or not a big deal. Come on now. Big deal or not a big deal. You know how we do it. Every show we wrap up with big deal or not a big deal. But I got to tell you guys first, if you're not feeling well, maybe you're getting a little queasy because of the NBA trade deadline, or maybe you're actually getting sick. Well, if you're actually getting sick, I got to tell you, you have to call Doctors on Call 365. Doctors on Call 365, South Florida's urgent care that comes to you. My son had an earache a few nights ago. It was the evening. We're not going to be able to see his regular doctor. I don't want to go to the ER and wait for hours. I call Doctors on Call 365 at 786-577-9302. Dr. Alon was at my house an hour later, prescribed some amoxicillin, got better right away. Just an earache, it's okay, not that big of a deal. But the point is, he comes to your home, your office, wherever you are, treating children, adults, elderly. If you need a strep test, a flu test, COVID test, you need blood drawn, you need IV fluids, you need a prescription written up. Doctors on Call 365. It's so worth avoiding the crowded emergency rooms. Now you're going to pay out of pocket. You got Medicare acceptance, private insurance is coming down the line for Doctors on Call 365, but you're going to pay more after waiting for hours in the emergency room. Your copay is going to be more than what you're paying Doctors on Call 365 to come to you, the comfort of your own home. They're serving Broward County, Miami-Dade County, Southern Palm Beach as well. DoctorsOnCall365.com, 786-577-9302. Big deal or not a big deal? Kyrie Irving, he's a piece of shit. But Kyrie Irving, he made his debut for the Dallas Mavericks last night. They won. He had 24 points. This is not a big deal. There was no Luka Doncic. That's the, real determining factor, obviously, is how he plays with Luka. But inevitably, it's going to blow up. I mean, right when he got there, he was already answering questions about deleting his apology to the Jews. He did the whole, I got Jewish people, family, and friends, I can't be anti-Semitic. It's the same thing as saying I got black friends, I can't be racist. This is not a big deal. Kyrie Irving is a big loser. You will not win big with him. Not a big deal. Big deal or not a big deal? Jaylen Brown fractured his orbital in last night's Celtic win over the Sixers. He's out at least through the All-Star break. This is a big deal. It's going to be one of those situations. He's probably going to wear a mask when he comes back. I guess he won't be out too long, so that's good. But, the Celtics trying to hold on to that top spot. This is a big deal, Jaylen Brown's injury. Big deal or not a big deal? So there are rumors out there there's going to be a new Toy Story movie. Toy Story 5. I didn't love 4. 3 is so good. But there's going to be a Toy Story 5, and apparently Buzz Lightyear is going to be voiced by Tim Allen. Remember, when they did the Buzz Lightyear prequel, it was Chris Evans, Captain America. And it was a whole big to-do why Tim Allen wasn't the voice. Well, Tim Allen apparently will be Buzz Lightyear in a potential Toy Story 5. That's a big deal. Big deal or not a big deal? Breaking news here, ZASLOW Show 2.0. While the Kevin Durant trade, I don't think it's official just yet, because like you heard there, Brian Geltzeiler, they may be adding a third team. He felt the Heat could get involved for Jay Crowder. Well, that's not happening. This just broke right now. Jay Crowder has been traded to the Milwaukee Bucks for a bunch of second-round picks. So I guess Milwaukee is jumping into that trade. It's going to be a multi-team deal. I'm not sure. But either way, Jay Crowder is on his way to Milwaukee. I'm going not a big deal. I really think the Heat fans' obsession with bringing back Jay Crowder has been a bit much. So I'm going not a big deal. And finally, big deal or not a big deal? Tonight, we find out who is going to be inducted into the 2023 Football Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame. Zach Thomas, once again, is a finalist. This is a big deal. I've been speaking about this for years. If Brian Urlacher gets into the Hall of Fame, first ballot, Zach Thomas is not a Hall of Famer? Get the hell out of here. Go look at their numbers matched up against each other. Urlacher's got the defensive MVP, and that's not a small thing. But you look at all the other numbers. Zach Thomas is right there, if not better than Urlacher. You cannot tell me Urlacher is a first ballot Hall of Fame, and Zach Thomas can't just get into the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer. It should happen tonight. That's a big deal. And that right there is another edition. A big deal or not a big deal. Come on, Riley, let's get it done. Trade for Curry. Got a few hours left. Come on now. Tomorrow, we're going to do a lot of the gambling, the props, the betting as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. I promise. The NBA's dominated this week. NFL, Super Bowl, step aside. This is the NBA's week. Make sure, however you listen to the program, you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that good stuff. If you want to get involved in the show, if you got a small business, we are looking for a couple more sponsors. We got some room. We're looking for a couple more sponsors to add to the show. You can see on my Twitter bio, at ZASLOW SHOW. You can see on my Twitter bio, there is an email there for business inquiries if you want to get involved in the show, or jonathanzaslow@gmail.com. It's really easy. You can remember it just like that. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your family about the show. We'll talk to you on ZASLOW Show 2.0 tomorrow. You know what that means.